Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's second video, which will take us around the 14th of May. So we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, which run to around a couple of weeks, of course, and also CFS V2 for the next month. That's going to take us just to the beginning of June. Beginning though with the latest observations from XC Weather, because it's very cold out there this afternoon, so we'll discuss that first of all. Just say that weekend forecast has been released as well as on Saturday. Your detailed weekend look ahead takes us over the next few days, and it's going to be a cold weekend with wintry showers in the north and night frost. Next week, going to turn more unsettled with showers and longer spells of rain heading in off the Atlantic. Have a look at weekend forecast and see what's going on. Right, so we're going to begin with the latest observations from xcweather.co.uk, and it's a cold afternoon out there this afternoon. The highest temperatures are out in the southwest of the country, so down at Plymouth, we're up to 13 degrees, 55 Fahrenheit. That's below average for an early May afternoon. That's where the highest temperatures are. However, some places are really very, very cool, or even cold this afternoon. So we've got two locations flashing away there. Stansted Airport, for example, at just 5 degrees, very, very poor, and Andrews Field is at 4 degrees. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 4th of May, that's absolutely atrocious. Langdon Bay also just 4 degrees. So it's very, very cold in some parts of the country. Presumably that's where we've got showers moving through. Wittering up in the Midlands is at 10 degrees. Going further north, Doncaster is at 12. Fylingdales is at just 6 degrees up the east coast. Newcastle at just 8 degrees. And Chatterhall at just 9 degrees. Heading into Scotland, Strathallan at just 9 degrees. Aviemore at just 5 degrees. Loch Glasgarnock just 6 degrees. And Altnahara is at 5 degrees too. There's a strong and a cold northerly wind blow that makes it feel even colder than those temperatures suggest. Aberdeen is at 8 degrees, and coming over the Irish Sea into Northern Ireland, we see Belfast at 10 degrees. So it's a cold afternoon out there this afternoon, and when you bear in mind that in February we saw temperatures going into the upper teens to around the 20 Celsius mark. I think we got to 21 Celsius, didn't we, on a couple of afternoons back in February, around 70 Fahrenheit. So, I mean, what's happened is that we had May in weather in February, and we're having February weather in May, it seems. It just goes to show you how topsy-turvy the UK's weather can be. Always finding a way to surprise us and keep us on our toes. And another one of those situations at the moment. It's going to be cold tonight as well, by the way. Temperatures could go down to -5 in some of the Scottish glens, so you'll need to cover up any delicate plants, fruit blossom, any flowers, bedding plants will need covering up tonight. Right, so let's get on with weather next week to 10 days then. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. You've got the ECM on the top and the GFS, which I'll look at in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet, is an area in the atmosphere. High pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue extrapolates to low pressure. So we see within the 7 to 10 day time frame, we've got this blocking feature up to our north. High pressure centred around Greenland and back into the North Pole. We've also got this ridge building up from southern Europe though, with low pressure out in the middle of the Atlantic. So the flow and the jet is going something a little bit like that, in that sort of fashion. And so this is telling us that within sort of days 8, 9, 10, we are possibly seeing a change towards high pressure. We started picking up on this yesterday, when we did yesterday's video, talked about the chance of a Spanish plume around day 10. That's just from a very brief ridge that the models wanted to build up from sort of Spain into France and then quickly move it away into Eastern Europe and allow the Atlantic back in. Models are now starting to make just a little bit more of that high pressure. So the Spanish plume looks like it's being taken away. It doesn't look like we're going to get particularly hot air from Spain, but it does look as though we're beginning to make more of that ridge that was the beginnings of the Spanish plume, if you see what I mean. So we've lost the Spanish plume from modern output, but we are starting to shift now perhaps more towards high pressure, dominating again through the middle part of May. This is how the GFS is looking. So again, same idea, below average heights in the middle of the Atlantic in the 7 to 10 day time frame, taking us to around almost to the middle of May. There's quite a lot of high pressure up to our north as well, but we've got this ridge building from Spain and Portugal up the western side of Europe. That will start to push the jet stream back northwards again, and will start to allow some drier and warmer weather to develop through to the middle of May. So both the models now, GFS and ECM, are starting to settle things down around days 8, 9 and 10. This is the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensemble for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at London today. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. Starting cold, of course, at the moment, well below average with the upper air temperatures and the surface temperatures as well. And we're going to see temperatures staying pretty cold, really, as we go through the rest of the bank holiday weekend, and generally quite lowly even into the middle part of next week. Eventually, temperatures do struggle up as we move into second week of May and up to the middle part of the month. Temperatures are struggling up a little bit above average, but it is a struggle to get the temperature to climb, actually. So it's a way off before we get any genuinely warm weather coming through, I think. But it should turn a bit less cold through the middle part of next week in particular. Precipitation-wise, lots of dry weather coming up over the rest of the bank holiday weekend, but next week turning more unsettled, especially around the middle of the week. Could be some bouts of heavy rain moving up from the south or southwest, but possibly a bit of a drying trend now starting to appear heading towards the middle part of May. It's a long way off, of course, that semi-extended range, the unreliable time frame of the GFS and its ensembles, but possibly just beginning to hint at a bit of a drying trend for a while anyway, around the middle part of the month. Now look at this temperature anomaly. This is a temperature anomaly from the 4th to the 12th of May, and it is significantly below average, much colder than average, not just from the UK and Ireland, but through most parts of Europe as well. Talking about temperature anomalies widely 2 to 6 degrees below average, and some parts of Central Europe look like they're going down to kind of like 6 to 8 degrees below average. So a very, very cold week actually for this time of the year coming up. Not just for the UK and for Ireland, but through most parts of Europe as well. Any warmth looks like it's shoved way, way, way away from us over into sort of middle parts of Russia, and also a little bit down towards the south of Spain, North Africa. But really, this is a very, very cool week coming up, even a cold week coming up through most parts of Europe. So if you enjoy your weather below average, cold and average, make the most of this week. We don't see temperature anomalies as below average as that on these charts all that often these days. Precipitation anomalies from the 4th to the 12th of May. Overall, a little bit wetter than average for the UK, but you'll notice it's starting to dry out a bit across Ireland. That might be a trend that increases over the next few days. Here's a GFS 6 o'clock operational run then. So starting on Tuesday, rather showery day coming up on Tuesday. Watch out for this area of low pressure developing down here in the Atlantic Ocean. That heads towards into Wednesday, brings bouts of heavy rain from off the Atlantic. And then we keep that low pressure sort of churning around the UK through the second half of next week, bring further showers, if not longer spells of rain coming through then as well. Into next weekend, cool and showery for Saturday, but by Sunday just starting to raise pressure a little bit out to our west, but still probably quite cool and showery even on Sunday. Now taking it through to Monday, so Monday the 13th of May and on to Tuesday the 14th of May, starting to build this ridge up across the country, sort of on the height anomaly flow charts. High pressure starting to become more influential as we head towards the middle part of May. That should start to dry us out. Probably still quite cool with the temperatures, if anything, but they may start to recover. They should start to recover quite quickly in the very strong May sunshine under any sort of area of high pressure at this time of the year. We keep that high pressure close to us through to the 16th of May, but go further out, actually the high pressure then start heading northwards again, starts to become a bit of a northern blocking feature, and we go back to square one really, pretty much where we're going to be in the next few days, with high pressure up here around Greenland and Iceland, but low pressure rolling in underneath it, threatening more rain into particularly southern parts of the country. So any high pressure bringing warmer, drier conditions only restricted to like the middle of May, and then it's back to more unsettled conditions again in the second half of the month. GFS parallel run looks like that, so showery on Tuesday, wet from the south on Wednesday, and then showers or longer spells of rain through the second half of next week, cool temperatures as well. Into next weekend, heights are rising out to our west, but still generally quite cool, unsettled and showery next weekend. It's not until we get through to the following week, but again we're building up this area of high pressure. This is how things looking at day 10, which is Tuesday the 14th of May. We're under an area of high pressure, so it's certainly a lot drier. Not sure it's particularly warm. We're probably still bringing in the air from a northeasterly direction, if anything, so it's probably still rather cool actually, but certainly drying out. And in the May sunshine under that high pressure, temperatures would rapidly start to stage a recovery. Unlike what the GFS operational run is showing, the parallel doesn't take that high pressure north and become a northern blocking feature. It actually moves it out to the west again in the more extended range. So we finish up starting to introduce a rather showery westerly flow. Of course, that's a really long way off. That's the 20th of May, so it's not worth having any concerns about it. ECMWF, again, rather showery and still cool on Tuesday. There's a low pressure rolling in on Wednesday. That's going to give us a soaking around the middle part of the week, especially across England and Wales, with showers or longer spells of rain persisting through to the end of next week. Into next weekend, again, same idea, rather showery for Saturday, possibly starting to raise the heights a bit to the west and south of the country on Sunday, and then we start to inflate that high pressure through to the following week, so we get to day 10, which is Tuesday the 14th of May, and we are under an area of high pressure. Then you'll notice high pressure is going north. High pressure is centred somewhere between Iceland and Norway, so, I mean, it certainly is a lot drier. We are breaking out of the unsettled weather for the middle part of May there, but again the wind flows possibly a little bit northeasterly, so I'm not sure it'll be overly warm, but the sunshine is very, very strong at this time of year. Of course, it doesn't take long to start to warm the ground up when the sun is shining on it for like 9 hours or more a day. So I suspect very quickly under that area of high pressure we will see temperatures warming up, at least by day, possibly still rather chilly by night. Now these are the options that were on the table with the ECM ensembles last night for the ECMWF midday run. Unfortunately, they haven't updated at the Icelandic Met Office so far today for the latest ECM run and the latest batch of ECM ensemble. So the sort of latest I can show you, most recent I can show you, is from last night, if you see what I mean. So instead of day 10, and these are the ensemble options scenarios for day 10, instead of day 10 being the 14th of May, as it is today, last night the day 10 was the 13th of May. Hope you're able to follow this. I'm just trying to explain why we're looking at last night's ECM ensembles and scenarios rather than today's. So, last night we had 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure ridging through the country, big area of high pressure building through the country, low pressure out in the Atlantic, and bringing up warmer southerly winds with that. So obviously settling down, high pressure building up for the middle part of May with those options very well supported within the ECM ensembles. In 2 weeks' time, these were the options that we had last night. 18th of May shows 15 members of the ECM ensemble still with high pressure out to our west-southwest. 14 with above average heights, high pressure blocking up to the north, low pressure underneath it. That's kind of like what the GFS operational run is showing. 6 o'clock operational run, blocking area of high pressure around Greenland and low pressure heading in underneath it. They're quite cool and unsettled potentially. 11 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure out to west-northwest of us, low pressure through Scandinavia. They're more settled, but they are quite cool. They're bringing the winds in from a northwesterly direction. And then finally, Let's change the colour. Finally, we've got 11 members of the East Ensembles. We had last night 11 members of the East Ensembles with a Scandinavian high, and obviously they're quite settled and they're bringing in easterly winds too. So it looks like high pressure is going to be influential through the middle part of May and into the second half of the month, but where that high pressure sits is obviously quite critical. Let's just have a look at CFSV2 for the next month. So these are 500 millibar heights, broken down into weekly periods. The first week period takes us from today, the 4th of May, May the 4th be with you, through to the 10th of May. And the coming week has below average heights over Scandinavia and also extending out into the Atlantic through the UK with a blocking signal up to the north. You expect that to be quite a cool and showery week coming up. All change for week 2. This is the 11th to the 17th of May with above average heights over and to the south of the country, below average heights out to the west. Jet streams being pushed north once again, so it's turning drier and warmer with that one. And we are beginning to see those signals, of course, within the GFS and ECM options today. And then we go through to week 3. This one is the 18th to 24th of May. Above average heights then over and to the east of the country. Below average heights to the west. So probably quite warm actually. That bringing winds up from a southerly direction. But maybe sometimes just a little bit more unsettled with this low pressure heading in off the Atlantic. Possibly. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 25th of May through to the 31st of May. So we don't quite yet get to June. Almost though. And this is what it looks like for week 4. So we've got above average heights then centred around Italy and the Adriatic. Below average heights are to west-southwest of the UK and above average heights in the middle of the Atlantic. This low is possibly telling us more unsettled and maybe a bit thundery as well. It could be a bit of a thundery breakdown as we bring up some warmer air ahead of the low. Might turn thundery there through the final week of May. So potentially very warm, possibly hot, but maybe thundering for the last week of May. And finally, if you're enjoying the videos at the moment, please you consider becoming a patron for Gaz Weathers. So this is Gaz Weathers' Patreon page. We've got 60 patrons so far. Hello, and a big thank you to all of our 60 patrons. So if you would like to become a patron for Gaz Weathers and help pay for the website and keep content supported, then all you need to do is come to the Gaz Weathers Patreon page, sign up for a Patreon account, then you can give a one-off, you can give an ongoing monthly donation to Gaz Weathers. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards. It doesn't have to be a large amount of money whatsoever. And by doing that, you become a patron for Gaz Weathers. Alternatively, you can give a one-off donation via PayPal. This is really simple. You just come to Gaz Weathers PayPal page, sign into your PayPal account, and then you send a one-off donation to Gaz Weathers. Whether you do it through PayPal or Patreon, you'll get a mention in the videos. We'll say thank you very much for your donation. And that's great. Thanks so much to everybody for doing that. Right, so that's it for your videos for today. Now we've got the Gaz Weathers Sunny Roundup coming up tomorrow, of course, and we'll have some more summer analogues as well. And then on Bank Holiday Monday, got a direct follow-on from the Easter Bank Holiday Monday historic video. That one was looking at the winter of 2017-18, including the beach from the east. But this one will pick up directly where we left off with that one, and it will cover the rest of the spring and, of course, the very hot summer that we had last year, the hot summer of 2018. So it's Bank Holiday weekend, but we never stop at Gaz Weathers. We keep the videos of content coming. Hope you are enjoying it. And that's all for now, though. Thanks for watching.